What's going on, NBA draft nerds? I'm Corey Tulaba, that's Tyler Rucker, and welcome to On the Clock, an exclusive NBA draft show presented by No Ceilings TV. Welcome to episode 1. Without further ado, let's get into it. Rucker, what better way to start an NBA draft show than to start with the NBA playoffs? You know, the NBA PlayIn Game just transpired, and there were some major implications and repercussions from the results of the game. The Cavs, the Knicks, the Blazers, and the Hornets all just had absolutely monumental outcomes because of the play-in tournament. So tell me, who felt the play-in tournament the hardest?
It's got to be Portland Trailblazers fans, Corey. I mean, you're looking at a team that was expecting to potentially have 2 picks in the lottery. Now they only got 1. And this is a rebuilding team that needed to add pieces. They needed to keep their superstar happy. Damian Lillard's been vocal about wanting to stay around, but, they're going to have cap space. 2 first-round lottery picks would have definitely helped push the needle forward in a hurry. But now, unfortunately, they're only going to have 1. So I think Portland's definitely the team that, Blazers fans hated that play-in tournament. They really felt it, and they felt as if they lost that game. So it's a tough punch to the gut, and they're going to have to make sure that they get a good asset with that only 1 selection.
Look, I can't disagree that they were the team that were hurt the most by it, and especially because of all the rumors that they were going to use one of these lottery picks to try to trade for Jeremy Grant to get Damian Lillard some immediate help. Now, who knows? Maybe they still make that trade with their first pick and they don't end up with one of these players. But, when I talk about who felt the play-in tournament the hardest, I'm going to go with the Cleveland Cavs.
All right.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Cavs because they gained a lottery pick. They were a team that didn't have one. They didn't have a pick at all, and now they're jumping into the mix. And you talk about they're going to get Colin Sexton back, and they're going to add a lottery pick. Maybe they're going to use this pick as an asset to move up. But whatever it was, we saw in the play-in tournament that this was a team that just couldn't do what they needed to do to get it done, relying strictly on the creation of Darius Garland and a little bit of Karis LeVert. They need some help, and I think that this lottery pick is actually the asset that's going to get them potentially over the hump in the short term. Obviously, Evan Mobley, he's great. Jared Allen, that whole thing. Darius Garland's amazing, but they need more, and this is going to be the thing that helps get them to the next level. All right, moving on from the NBA, let's get back to strictly NBA draft stuff. The Nike Hoop Summit just took place in Portland recently, and Jan Montero had a big opportunity and a big moment for him to reclaim his draft stock from where it may have took a tumble in the Overtime Elite program. So, did Jan Montero's big outing at the Nike Hoop Summit actually help his draft stock?
I don't think it did, Corey, and I don't like to be the guy that's rooting against someone's draft stock, but I think Montero had a big opportunity at the Hoop Summit to impress NBA decision makers, personnel, scouts. I don't really know if he moved the needle. Everyone's going to point to the scrimmage, the game where he had 20 points, but I'm still not seeing the versatility. I don't think that stock's really going to help him. He's going to be looking at as a late first round, potentially second round pick. You're talking about a quick, decisive playmaking guard, but can he finish around the basket? There's still some questions and buzz that he didn't really do a good job about that during the practices all week. So I think Montero, that was a big week for him, and I'm out on him. I think he's trending the wrong way. I don't think teams are going to be buying. Yes, I'm out. Call it a hot take. I'm out right now.
I'm calling it a hot take. I'm in.
Oh.
Okay, here, I think that it helped his stock, and I think we're overreacting. It's not that long ago that we overreacted to the weird season that LaMelo Ball had. Jan Montero is in a somewhat similar situation, and this is a kid who had a ton of pro experience for a guy his age. He was the MVP at 16 years old of the Basketball Without Borders tournament, and he just went to the inaugural season of the Overtime Elite program where he got to play with this freedom in this weird AAU-style league that was probably a little bit more concerned with how they looked on social media than how the actual guys were performing on their YouTube channel. And I look at Montero and I see this shifty, quick, just fiery, competitive ball handling guard. And I think that we got to see some of the things in the Hoop Summit game that he didn't necessarily show all that much in overtime because of how the league is ran. We saw some of the playmaking a little bit more. He knocked down shots, hit 4 threes in the game. I think that this kid's legit, and I think that we're overreacting. If he drops to the end of the first round, I think it's an overcorrection. I'm not saying that he should be a top 10 pick, but this is a guy who had lottery talent, and I haven't seen anything that has moved me from that perspective. So I'm sticking with Jan Montero. And sticking with the international theme of the last segment, let's talk about Ousmane Dieng in the NBL. He just declared for the draft. He, along with Hugo Besson, are leaving the team in New Zealand. So, Rucker, I'm going to ask you, are you riding on the Dieng hype train?
I'm telling you what right now, I'm on the train, but we need to slow down the train. Everyone's picking up. Everyone's jumping on board. They got their tickets. They got their bags. Everyone's saying, hey, full speed ahead. Let's go to the top. Let's go to the top of the mountain. We need to pump the brakes, okay? Ousmane Dieng is a heck of a prospect, super young talent. Really excited to see how he grows, but this guy's going to be raw. He's going to take some time. If you look at his progression throughout the year, obviously it's trending in the right direction, but early on, he was brutal to watch. Now, he's showing some flashes right now, but we need to calm down. I mean, talking about this guy as a lottery pick, that's really rich for me right now. I think he's got special tools. I think he's got a bright future, but someone's going to need to be patient. He's not going to be ready right away. He's going to take some time. So I'm on that train, but we need that train to slowly pick up speed. We don't need to be going full tilt right now.
Well, look, everybody knows that it's better raw. Let's just start there. Look, I'm not saying I'm not the conductor, that I'm the conductor of the train, but I'm certainly riding in the first car. This is a kid who's 6'10", and yeah, he's raw. Yeah, he's not as polished as you want necessarily. Yeah, it's going to take some time, but isn't he the home run swing that the draft is all about? I mean, look, he started out the year slowly, and we all panicked, right? We dropped him down the boards. We said, is he ready? And at the time, it didn't look it, but the kid came on just on fire to close the year. I mean, multiple 20-point games. He was knocking down the shot. And let me tell you, that's not even what I was most excited about. That passing feel is what really got the juices flowing. And when you look at the current NBA, length, versatility, skill, he's like that. I liken him a little bit. He gives me Paul George vibes. He's not nearly the athlete. He's not nearly as explosive, but what he could do with the ball in his hands, I just think he fits so well. So full steam ahead, chugga choo-choo, that bitch. All right. Look, we just talked about two guys who maybe have risen up my board a little bit, but are they the biggest stock risers in the draft? Because I'm telling you, and I'm going to keep it international here, I'm headed down under. I think that Dyson Daniels as the guy who has helped his draft stock the most. This is a guy that you look at some boards, cough, Bleacher Report, cough, this guy's still getting mocked in like the 20s. What are we thinking here? Sure, he's rising up the board on most outlets, but this is a guy who's now apparently, according to Mike Schmitz at ESPN, 6'8", 200 pounds, versatile, big, maybe the best defender in the class, and shot 45% from three over his last 10 games. I'm not understanding how this dude doesn't start playing his way, not only into the top 10, but potentially even pushing top 5 by draft night. I think teams are going to get this kid in workouts. They're going to hear the intel from the Ignite program, and they're going to look at the playmaking, the shot making, the defensive versatility, and the athleticism, and they're going to look at the success of some of the other Aussies that have come over and realize this kid is a home run pick.
Corey, you got to calm down. Dyson's already been rising, homeboy. Now listen, just because of those outside boards have him in the top, later part of the first round, we've already been there at no ceilings. He's a top 10 pick, so he's already been rising.
All right.
I'm telling you right now, it's Malachi Branham of Ohio State is the riser that you need to watch out for. Now, this guy is a tough bucket getter. He's an offensive machine. He has versatility to score from multiple levels. The dude is slippery. He's slithery through traffic, and he just knows how to fill it up. The sky's the limit with Branham. He is going to be a lottery pick in this draft. I love everything I've watched about him. The more and more I watch, I think this is a guy that's going to continue to heat up throughout the entire pre-draft process, and teams are going to be drooling. So that is the name you need to watch. Dyson Daniels, he's already there. We've already had him in the top 10. But this is the one. This is the one you got to get on board with in a hurry. So watch out for that Ohio State freshman because he's going to be special.
Yeah, the Branham train is picking up steam also, and I can't say I blame anybody. The kid is a great prospect, but I'm sticking with Dyson Daniels there. All right, it's time. It's episode 1, so that means we need to start with the team that had the worst record in the draft. We don't know if they're going to have the first pick in the draft because we don't know where they're going to be at come lottery night. But as of right now, they are mocked to have the first pick in the overall draft. I'm talking about the Houston Rockets. So the Houston Rockets are on the clock. Who are they taking?
They say, Houston, we have a problem. No, Houston, we have a solution. Now, it's going to be the thin man. It's Chet Holmgren. We're drafting the defensive versatility, the length, the awareness. Now, I understand every Rockets fan listening. They want the offensive firepower, but listen, Holmgren has that potential. He can be a dynamic weapon on the offensive side of the ball. You're getting a go-to defensive anchor, a 7-foot, lengthy shot blocking monster. Ignore the frame. We ain't talking about the frame right now. We're talking about the tools he has. He's going to slide in, be a great asset next to Jalen Green with all those tools they have already, those pieces of the puzzle. Chet has so much upside. The sky is the absolute limit. So Chet Holmgren is going to be the pick.
Look, anybody who's followed me knows I love me some Chet, right? The kid is an absolute hooper. But what are we doing here? Did we not just watch Paolo Banchero run through the NCAA tournament? I mean, we're talking about a guy 6'10", 250 pounds, has the ball on a string, knock down shots both off the catch and off the bounce, and we're talking about a playmaker. You pair that next to Jalen Green, and you're talking about two guys that on any given night could score 30, 35, 40 points in the future. And I mean, look, the defense is nice from the center position. But guess what? Center might be the easiest position to fill up. We're seeing a guy like Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert is getting just absolutely played off the court again in the playoffs. And look, Chet, he's got more to his bag offensively. I get it. But Paolo Banchero looks like, he's going to be what LeBron looks like when he's 42 years old, a downhill force, just an absolute offensive freak. Pair that with Jalen Green, and you are going to have mismatch nightmares all over the floor. Going to be impossible to game plan for. And I mean, shoot, I didn't even mention Jabari Smith. All right, guys, that's going to do it for episode 1 of On the Clock. Thank you for joining us. If you have not done it yet, look down below, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, and tune in every week for more episodes of On the Clock on No Ceilings TV.